Hey, did the groundhog see a shadow the other day? He did not? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer.
I was called that once, Lem. Looked it up in the dictionary. It's best you don't know what it means.
Here, you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth.
Thank you very much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
With actual listeners in more than 100 countries, I am the Professional Noticer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. As the Professional Noticer, it is my job to professionally notice. And I want to do that for you. Nothing's off limits. What's your question? You got something business or spiritual issues, popular culture? We even tackle the odd conundrum. Not often are they as odd as the one last week. Do you remember what it was? Here it is again. What has 4 letters, occasionally has 12 letters, always has 6 letters, but never has 5 letters? I hope none of you were kept up all night trying to figure this one out, but it's exactly what it says. The word what is spelled with 4 letters. Occasionally, the word occasionally is spelled with 12 letters, always has 6 letters, and never has 5. How about that? Look, my purpose here today with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life you would live if all your toughest questions were answered. This week, the Professional Noticer is sponsored by GulfCoastNation.com. You really need to follow these guys. GulfCoastNation.com. Oh my gosh, what a cool business. Adam Andrews and Dylan Weir here out of Orange Beach, Alabama, and people are taking vacations from all over to come fish with these guys. They fish from the beach. It's a charter from the beach, and they're catching big fish. So this is GulfCoastNation.com. You know, their deal is, hey, when you fish with Gulf Coast Nation, you don't get seasick, and you have nice chairs to sit in. And we can order pizza if you want, or we'll cook you a steak, or we'll grill some burgers. But man, the fish they catch are unbelievable. So you can go for smaller ones, you can fish, get a trip until midnight, you can get a trip until dawn. But a lot of what they do is tagging and releasing big sharks. They tag these sharks for NOAA. Just this last season, they had one that was a tiger shark 12 feet 3 inches. The NOAA charts said that one weighed 1,050 pounds. And but it's just been amazing to see. But that's GulfCoastNation.com, and they're booking up fast for this coming spring and summer. So go ahead and get in touch with them. You can follow them at GulfCoastNation.com. or on YouTube, Facebook at Gulf Coast Nation, and then on Instagram at Gulf.CoastNation, and you're gonna be amazed. Watch the videos, follow them, and then book a trip. GulfCoastNation.com. Okay, observations and answers. What we do here, I deliver the observations, you provide the questions. And last week we started something that we're going to do for several weeks, and that is we're taking out the inventory boxes. We love it when you send us the long form questions, but we've gotten a lot of just very short, quick questions. And over the past several months, we have inventoried these and categorized them. And last week we did one on my family. And this week we have a bunch of questions here that people want to know, things about being a speaker and just speaker questions and the speaker business. And so a lot of these are questions that we haven't addressed and we don't talk much about, and they're pretty cool questions. So here we go. Let's just go through some of these. One says, what do you want your audiences to do differently as a result of having heard your presentation? Honestly, I can tell you that in one word: something. Something. Just do something. I have found so many times, and I'm not just saying my audiences. I have been a member of other audiences, right? And I found myself loving the message, really being inspired by the speaker, and then going out and doing absolutely nothing. And so what I really want is something. I mean, we got to have some action, you guys, and we got to do something in our country, in our world, with each other. Matt, I don't know if I've told you this, but the other night, and this is, I would love to say that I was the person who inspired this guy, but this guy didn't have any clue who I was. This guy just helped me, but I had gotten to an airport and there was a big airport, big city, and I'm waiting on the shuttle from the hotel that is on the grounds of the airport. I mean, they're on the grounds, right? And so we called them when the plane came right to the gate. So, okay, he's coming out, and so you can send the shuttle. Well, we get there, and shuttle's not there. So I wait like 10 or 15 minutes, and then SB calls again. And no, they're not there. Long story short, an hour and 10 minutes later, late at night, I'm still standing there waiting on a shuttle from this hotel that is on the ground. They're not near the airport. They're in the airport. It's just the airport's so big, I can't walk to it, right? And I just can't believe it. I mean, SB's called him like 5 times and even talked to a manager, right? And finally, this guy, because I'm watching all the other buses and everything go by. And so there's this guy that pulls up, and he has evidently been by several times. His name is Alex, I find out later. And I also find out later that he is from Colombia, and he's been in our country for 2 years. So he's only been here for 2 years. And he's not speaking great English, and he says, "Who are you waiting on?" And I tell him, and he says, "Please come in." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to a different hotel. This is not your hotel." And he says, "No, I'll take you. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you're not understanding. I'm not getting in the thing with you because I'm not going to your hotel. I don't have a reservation at your hotel. And finally, he makes me understand that he is not going to take me to his hotel. He is going to drop me by the hotel that I have a reservation at, that I've been waiting for over an hour. And I just like can't believe it. I mean, I just like, seriously? Oh, okay. So I hop in, and that, that's when I asked. I said, "So no, tell me about yourself. Where are you from?" But 2 years he's been in my country, been in our country, and it's just shocking to me that I'm really glad. And whoever it was who inspired this guy to be this conscientious and this giving. And of course, I made sure. I mean, I tipped him way more than I would have tipped, the other people had they come at a normal time, and that would have been a good tip. But this guy, man, I wanted to encourage him. I'm like, dude, you have encouraged me just that there's somebody out there like you. So anyway, I mean, somebody see that. So that's what I want to do when I get through speaking. That's what I want people to want to do something. Just look for somebody to help, for something to do. I was just still blown away by that. What do you fear most about giving a presentation? I don't know that there's much that I fear about it now, but sometimes I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly what I fear most about giving a presentation. I fear an uncontrollable aspect of the event coloring the satisfaction of the client. And I'll give you a great example. As I got started as a speaker, I would typically be one of the first in the convention. And then, somewhere along the line, I worked my way to, just somewhere in there. But now, a lot of times, I'm like the last speaker at the convention. I'm the last one. And it is amazing to me how many times the room is half full because people leave. It's like, oh, the convention ends at noon today, and so we're just going to go into the airport. And I did one recently, and I knew it was going to be like that because they had, right? I mean, the whole thing was over at 11:30. So I'm going on stage at 10:15, and they had a break at 9:45. Seriously, you got one thing left in the convention, and you're giving everybody a 30-minute break before that. I mean, man, I'm telling you, everybody's gone. And so that's what I fear because, you can do your best in front of a half-full crowd and it not sound like it's going very well sometimes. Or, and I'm wanting to touch the people. I want to get the information to the people. It's not that just put me up there and let me just do something and get paid and get out of there. That's not what I care about. And so I would much rather be like the first speaker at the convention or a middle speaker or something, because this going at the end of the convention with people leaving drives me nuts sometimes. Here's one. How do you divide your time between delivering ideas and creating them? I don't think I purposely divide my time between delivering ideas and creating. I think I'm always creating. I'm always creating. And sometimes I'm on stage and I'm thinking of a different way to say it. My prayer is always, God, help me explain complicated things that are confusing people. And so, I don't think divide my time between creating and delivering. I think I'm always creating, and I'm probably just finding better ways to deliver it. Now here's a curious question, and I think I know what this person means. And so I'm going to answer this, but the question is, what speakers make you want to give up? Does that mean that I'm asking you, Matt, does that mean that what speaker do I look at and I think, oh my God, they're so good, I should. Yeah, I don't think it's not that I don't see people that I don't think are better than me. It's just that I don't think in those terms now. Now, when I used to work as a comedian, I used to do that all the time. But now I think there is something that I'm supposed to do that only I can do, and just like I think there's something that you're supposed to do, and you are the best at that, and nobody should. You shouldn't look at somebody and be intimidated by how they do it, because there's some people that only you are going to be able to connect with. Now, I will tell you this. I remain blown away by Patsy Claremont. I'm just blown away by her. I said this for years, and I still say it. Patsy Claremont, she is like, she's one of the top 3, forget speakers, she's one of the top 3 communicators I have ever experienced in my life. She was kind of my tiny person, my buddy. I was the token guy on the Women of Faith tour for 3 years, and Patsy and I would do a Friday afternoon thing together. She would speak twice, I would speak twice, but it was us. And I'll tell you, if you had told me before that all started, if you said, now we all kind of sit down here and listen to each other, and if you'd have told me, now you're going to have to sit down here every Friday and listen to Patsy over and over and over again, I didn't really know her, and I would have said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that. I just won't be able to do it. And I'm telling you, after 3 years, I could have done it 3 more. I love listening to her. And so I don't know it's a matter of being intimidated by a speaker, but there's certainly some that I see that I really think are unique. Now, I'll tell you another one, and that's Dan Stone. Dan is a pastor up in Duluth, Minnesota, and assuming he's not frozen, assuming he's still with us, just incredible communicator. The question is, at what point do you come alive on stage? Before you walk on, when you walk on, or 3 minutes after you start? Well, I got to tell you, if you want to make a living speaking, the answer better not be 3 minutes after you start. Because if that's your answer, you're not going to be speaking long or often, or, make a great living at it. I am a kind of before I walk on person, but it's not very long before I walk on. I'm not backstage for an hour kind of going nuts, but 5-10 minutes before I hit on stage, I've been praying and I'm kind of walking around and I'm ready. I'm ready. And so, I want to be alive right when, and it's more than just the audience. The audience is sometimes your critics, your judges are backstage too. And so just like we tell our children, just be aware that people are always watching. Okay. Here's like 2 questions together. One is, what is the physical effects of speaking on you, and what are the emotional effects of speaking on you? The emotional effects of speaking on me are overwhelmingly positive. I enjoy it. I'm excited about it. I have a good time doing it. It's fun. So I think the emotional effects are overwhelmingly positive. The physical effects have gotten a little different. And I think that's because the travel has gotten so crazy. I talk to people a lot of times on airplanes, and we kind of, we look at each other, those of us who've been traveling for a good while. And I had a guy say to me the other day, and I thought this was very accurate. He said, I don't know that flying ever used to be fun, but it didn't used to be brutal. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. And so, if you ask us I think almost any speaker who has been doing it for a while, if you ask, what are the physical effects of speaking on you? I see what your question is. Your question, but see, I'm not seeing exactly what you said. You're saying, what are the physical effects of speaking? And yet, I hear, and I'll bet you anything, almost every speaker who would hear that question would hear it, what are the physical effects of the speaking industry on you? Because a lot of times we see speaking as, hey, I'll stand up and talk. That's fun to me. That's just like, that's fun. It's the getting there and being away from the family. And so it does have a physical toll. It has a physical toll on my voice. I don't know if you know this or not, but a number of years ago, I lost my voice for several months in a row. And boy, you talk about a scary thing. But, one of the things that I do, I think there are probably more speakers out there who do this too, but I get a car service, to take me to and from the events. I don't ride with anybody. Okay. And it's not because I don't want to be sociable or whatever. It's because if I ride with somebody, I'm going to talk. And we're going to talk. And so then, now I've talked for an hour, and now I got to go talk for an hour and hope my voice holds out. And so it's one of those kind of things and that's part of that speaking industry thing. And sometimes that, you don't get as much sleep as you would like. And so it does have an effect. I still wouldn't trade it for anything else. Hey, here's a curious question. What do you want the audience to be saying about you afterward? Well, I tell you this. You can certainly find out what they'll be saying about you afterward, because if you are the first in the bathroom when you get through, just go right into a stall and just stand there, because they'll be talking about you when they come in. Years ago, found that out. But, I think what I want people to be saying has changed over the years, because I used to want people to say, oh my gosh, he was great. Oh my gosh, that's the funniest thing we ever said. Oh my gosh, he was just so inspiring. Now, I think I want people to go, we're going to be able to use that. That's going to change things. Because that's what I really want to do. I want to help people change. There was a question, where is that? Here it is. Why do you feel compelled to speak? I'm going to tell you the absolute truth on that. Why do I feel compelled to speak? I don't know. I don't know. It was something that I felt when I was a kid. I mean, it's been something that I've always wanted to do. And it's why I was a comedian first, because, I always wanted to be a speaker, but I didn't have anything to say, and that'll kill a speaking career. So the only way I knew how to get on stage was to be funny. I didn't have the experience to speak about life things, but I had the observational powers to make people laugh. And then that gave me some experience in other areas too. Here's the last question. What are your best memories of speaking? You know, I mentioned one of them. I can honestly say that 3 years with Patsy Claremont, that has been just a highlight of my life. I think anything that I have ever done with Bill and Gloria Gaither has been just greatest memories of my life. I have pictures of these people up in my office, and I see them every day, and I think of them every day. But I really, really believe that those have been life-altering times for me. The times that I've been able to sit and talk with Bill and Gloria, the times that I've been able to watch them, to watch how they've dealt with other people, to watch how they've dealt with artists, to watch how they've dealt with people who think they're great, you know, and I just, it's been great. And then with Patsy, again, I learned so much from her, and I'm not just talking about like speaking stuff, life stuff. And so those are some of my greatest memories. I also have incredible memories from the times that I worked with the Oak Ridge Boys and with the Statler Brothers and with Kenny Rogers and with Joan Rivers. Yeah, I remember those four. You know, I still talk with Don Reed. He was the lead singer of the Statlers and the guy who wrote just about every song they did. I still talk with Joe Bonzel, Dwayne Allen. I see Richard Sturban, Golden occasionally, but I keep up with those guys. But I want to tell you something about the Oaks and the Statlers and Kenny and Joan Rivers, and that is they treated me so well. Before anything ever happened to me, I was just some kid, right? But I appreciate so much. I mean, every time I talk with Joe Bonzel, or every time I talk with Don Reed, I'm always just so grateful because I know that I'm talking to somebody. They treat me well now, but they're not treating me any different than they treated me before I ever wrote a book, before I ever had a podcast, before I ever did anything, which just lets you know what fine people they are. So, and I haven't seen Kenny in a long time. If anybody sees Kenny, tell him I love him and appreciate him. Okay. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing some common sense and a little bit of wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. Hey, we would love for you to go to wisdomharbor.com. That's HARBOUR, and check out what we have there. This is just it's an unbelievable thing. I've got arranged for you right now a free 5-minute guided tour, and then become a member. We are making this thing pop, and I'm so excited about the people who are figuring out how to use it for their families, for their schools, for their businesses. This is wisdomharbor.com. In addition, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you appreciating this podcast. And if you haven't already gone to iTunes and given us a nice review, I would appreciate you doing that. That really helps, by the way. It allows them to line up where we show up in the order. And so if you haven't done that, please do that today. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk, shake hands with the kids you meet, and make sure you have an answer to this question. If you pamper a cow, do you get spoiled milk? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Sparkling grape juice provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by the network that brought you the television hit Little Whittle Houses. This summer, we're bringing you a new show of unepic proportions. Introducing extremely super teeny tiny homes. This time, we're really stepping up the sizing down. And you won't believe just how little things are gonna get. Imagine a home providing the flexibility of completing all your errands without ever leaving the comforts of your house. We've rethought the whole entire concept of the modern domicile and torn down walls, literally and figuratively, that say, no, this is not a good idea. It may not be, but we're doing it anyway. For under $5,000, our team constructs a uniquely fitting shell around a homeowner that is both lightweight and extremely durable. It's like living in a room about the size of your body, but instead of one room, you're in them all. With portability being the key to this bold concept, our builders designed the homes with what they called feet holes. Simply slide your feet through, lift up, then Flintstone your way to the grocery store or to a local restaurant. Tune in this summer. You're going to want one for yourself. Extremely super teeny tiny homes. Just wait. You'll love it.